560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you ever feel like you're living in a dream world?
Bizarro world.
Good morning, Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for Dan Proft. Yeah, the last 2 nights I've been getting up at 1:30 in the morning and just trying to process what's going on.
Yeah.
How 14 million people voted for Biden. He got the nominee, presumably, got the nomination, got the delegates. And then some polls come out and they keep coming out. Like, this is not a big surprise. And they take it all, Obama and Pelosi, take it all away from him by basically saying, you could do this the hard way or you could do this the easy way, according to Politico. But it's really hard to fathom what is going on. That sounds like a dictatorship to me.
Yeah. It's a coup.
Doesn't it? You don't have like you talk about the threat to democracy.
Yeah.
The Democrats are a threat to democracy. And yesterday, Kamala Harris, she had 2 events. It was her coming out party, people.
Our president, Joe Biden, wanted to be here today. He is feeling much better and recovering fast, and he looks forward to getting back on the road. And I wanted to say a few words about our president. Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history. In one term, he has already, yes, you may clap.
Please clap.
I am firsthand witness that every day our President Joe Biden fights for the American people, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
They stole the election from Biden after he won in the primaries. With more on this, let's welcome back to the program John Nolte, Breitbart News senior writer and author of Borrowed Time. Good morning, Mr. Nolte. How are you?
Hi. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Anything going on in the world?
I don't know. It's like, as Justin said, we've had a week worth of news in 24 hours. Yeah. So how are you processing all this? Are you waking up at 1:30 in the morning too?
Yeah, you do. It's very hard not to do. I try not to do that, but in an environment like this, there's so much going on. You just want to see what's going on, and then it's an environment where the truth is one thing, and then what you read at these mainstream media sites is totally different. They're trying to just create this fantasy world. So it's definitely, we are cursed to live in interesting times.
So do you think that there will be a brokered or an open convention? Because she's already secured enough delegates to secure that, and 24 governors are now vowing to support her.
Yeah, I don't see it. They might pay lip service to it to pretend that Democrats still believe in the voters, but she's got it, and there was no way they were going to take it away from her. You just can't. They're stuck with her because she's a black woman. She was a token hire by Biden's own admission. He said he was going to choose someone based on gender and based on her skin color. And what are they going to do? Jump over her for a Hillary Clinton or an old white woman like Hillary Clinton or a white guy? They just couldn't do it. So they're pretending that this is some sort of process when it's not.
So President Trump, or former President Trump, tweeted out, they stole the race from Biden after he won it. The primaries, this is the first. These people are the real threat to democracy. And they've also done a good job, I think, the Democrats, of sucking the oxygen out of the room in regards to the assassination attempt of President Trump.
I don't think they're going to be able to do that as much as they hoped because of the cover-up that's currently happening at the Secret Service. You had what I saw yesterday, that hearing, and I almost never watch congressional hearings, but I've never seen Republicans and Democrats come together like that, just in pure disgust. So I think they might be trying to take away some of the oxygen of that, but that's going to be very difficult to do, especially with Democrats. You can see Democrats went to that hearing, wanted to talk about gun control, and then saw this woman, the Secret Service Director, Cheadle, obfuscate and lie and block. And obviously she's protecting Mayorkas. She may even be protecting a cover-up where they deliberately allowed someone in to shoot the president. and they just weren't going to stand for it. And I've never seen anything like that, at least not in the last 20 years.
Well, expound on that they may have let him in to shoot the president. What do you mean exactly?
Well, I'm at a point now where I think this government's capable of anything. They lied to us about Trump being a Russian spy. They lied to us about the laptop. They lied to us about the lab leak with COVID. They tried to put him in prison. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to remove him from the ballot. And now you look at everything that happened, everything that allowed this guy to come within a millimeter of blowing the president's brains out. And now they're telling us, the government would never hire some 20-year-old weirdo. The guy had a rangefinder. The guy had a freaking drone. So I'm not saying that's what happened, but am I suspicious? Oh, yeah, I'm very suspicious at this point because plus they just pulled a coup on the sitting president of the United States. They just stole the election from the sitting president of the United States. So no one at CNN is going to shut me up.
Amen.
Or shut Breitbart up about floating my very valid suspicions that this guy was allowed in to shoot Trump because nothing else they tried to take him out with worked. And then the moment Trump survives, the same week, Biden defeated quits. This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
God, you're making a lot of sense. And I'm the mother of a 20-year-old and a 19-year-old. The fact that he had no social media footprint, but he was, he gave donated money to Democratic cause, Act Blue, and he didn't put that on any social media sites. It's very strange. And also, too, as a former street reporter for 21 years, I can't believe that they're not camped out in front of his parents' house or having press conferences every day on this, with updates. I mean, our former president was almost assassinated. A father of two who was loved by his community, volunteer firefighter, was murdered, and 2 other people were shot, and we're just going to let that go?
Yeah, it's a total cover-up. And the Keystone cops, which are the Secret Service, the Keystone cops, which are the FBI, when it comes to everything else, man, they sure bottled this guy up quick, didn't they? They sure got rid of his social media. They sure got rid of his history. And all of a sudden, nobody cares. Yeah. Nobody cares. And this whole thing stinks. So am I 100% sure that the Secret Service was in on an assassination attempt? No, but I'm suspicious as hell, and no one's going to shut me up. No one's going to shame me into not saying that by claiming it's a conspiracy theory. I mean, this thing stinks.
It does. Now, there was a report that said he had a transmitter on him, too, that possibly had a bomb in his van or something to that nature. What's the validity of that statement?
That might have – the Secret Service director yesterday did not refute that. She didn't refute anything. But it seems like he had some sort of a thing on his phone or an encrypted thing on his phone where he could contact other countries. Yeah. This wasn't they're trying to call him a 20-year-old weirdo. This guy was very organized, and he almost pulled it off.
Yeah. He had a drop phone, I thought, drop cell, with 27 contacts on there.
Wow.
Which is very, and then he was able to fly a drone over the event 4 hours prior to scope out where he was going to be. And one thing Cheadle did... Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, they're trying to toss him off as a weirdo. But if I was going to assassinate someone, I never would have thought of flying a drone first. No. I never would have thought of that in a million years. No. So this guy's very sophisticated.
Unless somebody gave him the idea to fly the drone.
Right. You called Kamala Black. I'm going to tell you, there's a group out there, because I went to their site to see what they had to say. It's called African Descendants of Slavery. ADOS.
ADOS?
ADOS. ADOS. They are out there pushing. She's not black. That ain't gonna happen. They did it when she ran in the primary. There are a lot of them here in Chicago, ADOS, who are not with Kamala Harris. So I think she's going to have a problem in the black race. That's one of the reasons why, John, I think she went to BET and they started the attack on Project 2025 to rile up the black community. What do you say?
Yeah, I've heard that, and I remember Don Lemon brought that up, and he caught all kinds of flack for it. The fact that she's not, I guess, African black, is that the way
Correct.
you would
Right. Well, she's Jamaican and Indian.
And, well, when she was AG in California, she was the first Indian American Attorney General.
Correct.
But now they've changed that to make her the first black vice president. But
Correct.
she's Jamaican.
Correct.
Her mom was born in India. Her dad was born in Jamaica.
Correct. That's going to be a problem.
Does this mean when we talk about Kamala then that we don't capitalize the being black since it's not a culture thing?
I'm just saying. Listen, I'm
well,
not
how should
saying
we properly address her then, John?
Kamala.
It's just an adjective. It's just an adjective. That's all it is. Because her skin's black, but she's not black.
Right.
Okay, what about these rumors that Joe Biden's dead? I mean, well, we haven't seen him in 6 days, and he did call in yesterday to his campaign headquarters with his campaign chairman there at the lectern, and said, he's not going anywhere, that he's going to help campaign with her. Is that a good idea right now?
Yeah. Again, how hard would it have been to release a photo of him signing his letter? How hard would it be to release? How hard to get him in a suit, comb his hair? It wouldn't have been difficult at all. And if you look around, and again, we're talking about a government. We're talking about an administration that is perfectly comfortable in furtherance of its agenda, killing babies after they're born and calling it abortion, and permanently mutilating and sexualizing little kids to appease their trans funders. So these are not good people. These are vile people. So is it possible that in order to hold on to power, that they used AI to make that phone call? I mean, I've seen AI online, actual AI of Biden. It sounds more like Biden than that phone call did. So he's obviously very, very sick. His brother said so. But again, they're just no one's going to shut me up this time with my suspicions about what this government, what this administration is capable of. No one's going to shame anyone into silence this time. This stuff has just gone way too far.
Yeah, John, I so want an open convention. I want to see the clown show. But as it relates to Kamala picking her VP, who works best for Kamala to pick as who should she pick as the VP to run with her on the ticket?
If I was Kamala, I would choose Whitmer. Because it would be an all-girl ticket.
Ew.
And I think that would get a lot of people excited.
Ooh,
plus, Michigan is crucially important to winning the election, and Michigan's really close, even with Biden on the ticket. It's one of the closer swing states. So if I were Kamala, I'd go with Whitmer and just make it super historic and get all the dumb white women excited.
Oh my God!
Or awfuls, as Dan calls
That's
them.
a lot of ladies there on that ticket. I cannot support that. But who do you think the progressives or the squad wants her to choose? Bernie Sanders?
Oh yeah,
wouldn't that be fun?
Karl Marx, they could just bring Karl Marx back like they did Joe Biden and run him. So yeah, they're going to want someone. But don't forget, Kamala is the most left-wing senator.
Yep.
When she became vice president, she was the most left-wing senator in the Senate, and she was more left-wing than Bernie. So I think they're already pretty happy with her. They just want to win. They don't care.
Yeah, they'll do anything to win.
They just did. Yeah, anything to win. It's never about the end. It's never about the means. It's always about the ends.
Yeah.
So they stole the election from Joe Biden. They probably tried to shoot Donald Trump after they couldn't imprison him or strip him off the ballot. Anything they can do to win, they're going to win. They're going to permanently mutilate your kids to get money from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Anything they can do to win, they're going to do.
Are you watching Keith Olbermann and his unhinged response to the Trump assassination?
No, he said he needs proof that it was a bullet. So then
who
Donald
cares?
Trump's physician, Ronnie Johnson, came out and said it was the width of a penny, pretty much, that took off a chunk of his ear.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, John Nolte, that probably doesn't surprise you that they're denying that there was an assassination attempt.
No, and that's the other thing, is that the usual narratives aren't working. You don't see you don't see people really buying into any of this stuff or thinking about it or saying, oh, okay, we need to tone things down. They tried to turn the assassination into gun control. And that's just not working. So it's just fascinating. But after a decade of hoaxes, there's no credibility here. The government can't tell anyone anything, and they're just not going to believe it. I mean, look what they've done to Trump, and he's winning. I'm not saying he's going to win,
Yeah.
but the guy's winning. I mean, you look at the polls against Harris. They've been polling him against Harris for a year now, and she's only been ahead by a point or two in two of them out of dozens of polls. So he's winning, and that I think is the biggest signifier that just no one's listening to these people anymore, because we've seen the effects of the Biden-Harris administration, which has been catastrophic to our country. And we saw the humanity of Donald Trump and the courage of Donald Trump, and his perseverance. And there's just something very American about the guy, and it's easy to remember how good things were under him.
Well, do you think he should debate her? Because personally, I think he should just sit this one out.
I think he has to debate her. I think if he chose not to debate her, it would blow back on him. So if she offers to debate, I think he has to debate her. And, he debated Hillary.
Yeah.
So
I
don't think debating a woman is going to be difficult for him.
But that was a great one, because that was a town hall style, and he was lurking behind her. And because I was there, Dan and I were there covering it live, and it was a great Saturday Night Live skit, but. Yeah. I mean, he was, not going to back down. But they were friends. I mean, he went to Chelsea's wedding. He's donated to her campaign. He's donated to Kamala Harris's campaign. Yeah. But he's a changed man since then. Yeah. Just like I'm a recovering Democrat. You're a recovering Democrat. People do change.
It's been 20 plus years since I voted Democrat, though.
Really?
Yeah, 20 plus years.
Do you have any flashbacks?
No, none.
You're okay?
I have zero. What do you think about the J.D. Vance pick? I mean, now that Kamala's at the top of the ticket, you think it's still the right pick?
I think they knew there was going to be a chance that Kamala would be at the top of the ticket. So I think Trump believes he's going to win. I think he believes that for good reason. And instead of worrying about, can I pluck Michigan? And I don't really know how much a VP helps. I've never really believed that a VP helps. But I think he's more concerned about legacy. So I'm going to pick this 39-year-old guy who's a MAGA guy, and then he can continue my movement. So I think he made the best pick. I don't know who else he could have picked. It really would have changed the dynamic.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders. That's who I've wanted all along. I really wanted her. I thought she would have been a great pick for him.
I wanted Nikki Haley.
Did you really?
I know. I fell on my head when I got out of bed the other day. No, I've always wanted Nikki Haley because she could bring people that undecideds, women in the suburbs.
Never Trumpers are going to always be never Trumpers. She would not have been
in the state of Utah when they had their primary a few weeks ago. She had 46% of the vote. Yeah, I mean, there's an appetite for her out there. There was. So.
You're talking about Utah, though.
Hey, easy. All right, John Nolte, we're getting inside baseball here. Always a pleasure having you on. What are you working on? Anything today you want to promote?
I'm just going to be digging more into the Secret Service failures. That's what really fascinates me, and making sure that the media knows that they're not going to shut us up about our suspicions that this was an inside job, because the evidence, and the facts point that way, especially after Cheadle's just catastrophic testimony yesterday. I mean, if you can unite Democrats and Republicans in this country, especially in Congress, there's something going on.
And John, real quick, I know we got to go, but the cop who I believe saved Trump's life is now being called a coward. Is that a name you would designate for him?
I'm not familiar with the story. Who's the cop?
The guy that stood up on the roof, and he allegedly, this was reported, that he trained his weapon on the cop. The cop fell back, but it was in that slight delay that rushed the shooter, if he was the shooter, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think climbing on a roof when you think there's a dangerous guy up there is cowardly at all. Yeah. I mean, cops. That's who would do that? I wouldn't.
There's a lot of calls for calling him a coward right now.
And John Nolte, real quick, how many Secret Service agents were actually there that day, rather than Homeland Security personnel?
Cheadle wouldn't tell us. She knows, but she won't tell us. Yep. And why not? Yep. And how many were local cops that weren't trained for this, that maybe weren't on the radios? I mean, it's just beyond the beyond.
Radio traffic.
Catastrophic failure. All right, John Nolte, Breitbart News senior writer and author of Borrowed Time. Always a pleasure, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anytime.
Okay.
Take care.
You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Do you have jewelry with sentimental value that needs repairing? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I'm a customer of family-owned Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville because it's a place I trust. Their in-house master jeweler does impeccable work, and jewelry comes back repaired in perfect condition and looks the same as the day you bought it. It's a great feeling. Roland's also specializes in custom design. They'll work with you